Adam Ottavino, formerly of the Yankees, now with Boston. Adam, it's Brian Kenny. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Adam, tell me, what was it like? Again, in human terms, again, you're from New York City itself. You're from Brooklyn. You're with the Yankees. You get traded to Boston. What was that like for you personally?
I think in the week leading up, heard a little chatter that I could potentially be traded. Cash didn't shoot it down right away. So then I started thinking, where am I headed? Definitely never considered Boston. I just didn't know that the two teams were going to be doing deals together. So when Cash told me that, that was the part that surprised me the most, was just that it was this team. So that was just a shock in the moment for sure.
Now, you went to college in Boston, though, right? You went to Northeastern, so it wasn't like you loathe them, have some or maybe you do. You had some intense hatred as a kid, but you've been to Boston before. Did that change things for you?
Yeah, I think, my family, Boston's always a special place. I went to school there. My wife went to grad school there, worked there. So we go back all the time. It was always a trip that we wanted to go to as a family, when we would play against the Red Sox. So, I think logistically, it was probably the next best thing to being in New York for us. So we're excited for sure.
Your first year with the Yankees had a monster season, Adam, a 1.90 ERA and 66+. What was your Yankee experience like in 2019, given all we know about baseball ops and all the things that they seem to be at the very vanguard of kind of like, pitching and looking at things analytically? What was it like for you?
2019 was like a dream. I mean, at least the regular season was. We were rolling. We won 103 games. I was living at home, which was nice. I was pitching well. It was just exciting. I felt like, everybody was doing their job. Everybody was having a great time on the team. It didn't end up the way I wanted. Scuffled there in the playoffs, and we weren't able to get past Houston. But 2019 was definitely a year I'll always remember for sure.
Now, I'd heard you talking about this. What was different last year? Now, again, you had that one blow-up game. If not for that, you've got a 2.94 ERA, but you had one blow-up game in Buffalo. But what was different? I heard you talking about roles, and it's funny because we've joked about that before when you were a setup guy with Colorado and killing it, and you're like, I could pitch anywhere. But is there something to roles and expectations that was different last year?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like last year, all of a sudden, I just didn't get in a great rhythm. I wasn't out there for a lot of full innings. I was getting pulled a lot, partial innings. Even with the 3-batter rule, they're pretty quick to not want me to face any left-handers, which is their prerogative. I mean, they run the team the way they want to, but I definitely felt like I just had a hard time getting in that flow. And by the time I did, it was kind of too late. I'd already kind of ruined my season with the one game. And obviously we were chugging towards the playoffs, and they wanted to put in the guys that they were trusting. So, I could have done a lot better job. I wish I didn't have that game. I wish I could have gotten my rhythm a little earlier, but it was definitely a different circumstance than I had been used to the previous few years.
Is it different when you're pulled mid-inning?
Well, I mean, I'm just the type of guy that always thinks I can get out of everything, and I always feel like I'm going to be better than whoever they're bringing in. So, I think in 19 we were bringing in Tommy Kahnle a lot, and he was striking everybody out under the sun. So that was a pretty easy pill to swallow. I felt like last year maybe the situations were a little different. So, it's neither here nor there, but I would have, I always think I'm going to dig out of everything.
It's funny. We've talked about this, and actually talking about it in regards to Bruce Bochy one year with the Giants, where he really got hyper aggressive. And a lot of it, though, you end up kind of managing off of failure a lot. Like you just walked a guy, out you go. Does that affect you psychologically, or does it not?
I mean, not like losing confidence-wise psychologically. I think, if anything, it just makes you want to get back in there and pitch again. I always think my next outing is going to be the start of a big roll. Even if I scuffled in the game, I always want to get right back in there and get rolling. So if anything, I just left myself feeling, I wanted to just be in more games, get more action. Basically, that was about it.
Adam, what is it like with the Red Sox now? In the old days, you'd report to your pitching coach, talk to him, your manager. How many people are you talking to now that are working on pitching for the Red Sox?
Yeah, they got a good group of guys here kind of going through all the pitching stuff. Obviously, pitching coach, assistant pitching coach, bullpen catcher, bullpen coach, Veritek's doing game planning now. So a lot of the guys that they have in place, I think I'll be picking their brain a little bit more strategy-wise in the season, day to day. But right now, we're all just getting to know each other. They're getting to know me, understand how I work, what I like to do. They're throwing their 2 cents in, and we're just getting comfortable. It's only about 3 weeks in, so far it's been positive.
You make a study of this for people who don't know. You study what your pitchers do. You work on it. You've been at the forefront of that. But what is the state of the art these days as far as how many pitching coaches, analytics liaisons that there are? What is it like at the major league level now?
Definitely a lot more brain power everywhere. I think you're getting a lot more information from the analytics department, and then that's all kind of filtered through the pitching department. So everybody kind of gets the information they need concisely. I think is the biggest thing. A guy in my situation, I really know my own game really well, so it's more of like a conversation, ongoing conversation with me and the other people that are coaching me about what adjustments to make and what things not to make, where to just kind of stay pat and stay the course.
Adam, what is it like in spring training now, just for you personally, for you and all your teammates? When we're looking at spring training games, it looks almost normal. Does it feel normal as opposed to last year? Or is it still kind of COVID pandemic, weird, quarantine situation?
I mean, it's definitely COVID still, so it's not all the way back, but there's more normalcy. I mean, there's fans in the stands, and we're getting ready to play the 162. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, last year in summer camp, it was kind of a rush to try to get there and then play that 60, just get whatever we could and be happy with that. But, me personally, I'm excited to get back to playing the 6 months of baseball. It's kind of what I've always prepared for and what I hang my hat on being able to do every year. So just really excited for that.
We're going to be talking about no expanded postseason this year coming up. What did you think of the postseason? As a player, what type of postseason would you like to see?
I'm open to a lot of the different suggestions, but for me, I really value the regular season. I think if you're going to play 6 months every single night, I really like to see the cream rise to the top in the regular season to get your foot in that door. And I also think that incentivizes teams to do a little bit more, knowing the bar is pretty high to get into that tournament there. So I liked kind of the smaller playoffs last year. I mean, it was all right. We got to play Cleveland in that first round and keep it moving. But, me personally, I think the regular season should hold a ton of weight in baseball.
Where are you on the DH?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like, part of me thinks have one rule for everybody, makes it the most fair possible. But I also, really like the National League game. Obviously, I played in Colorado for a long time. I like the idea of, if your pitchers are really good at handling the bat, that gives your team a built-in advantage. And also, it's a way to see a lot of the bench players play because guys are getting pulled and there's all sorts of pinch hitters and double switches happening. So I don't know, just from a strategy standpoint, I did like the National League, but I understand that times are changing and, maybe we do need to have a little more of a even system everywhere.
Oh, they're only changing if you make it change. You don't have to change it. I'm going to be talking to these guys, and they're already staring holes into my head now, but we'll talk about that. Adam, just wanted your input on that. There you go. Oh, I thought you were going to put it on front ways. Could you do that with the Yankees, wear it backwards? I don't remember that.
I think I could have gotten away with it. I think they're getting a little lax over there, but we'll see.
Listen up a little bit. Adam, always a pleasure talking with you. Have a great spring. We hope to see you soon.